Welcome to True Crime and Coffee Time, where we're doing a very late night coffee coloring, so this might be my worst coloring possible, but we're doing Christine Falling. She was born March 2nd, 1963, and is known as an American serial killer. Her childhood she's the youngest in a very unusual family. Her father was 65 at the time of her birth, but her mother was only 16. They were below the poverty line and they didn't get child support like they needed in early stages, so she was actually considered mentally challenged or handicapped and also suffered from epilepsy at a young age. When her parents could no longer afford to support her and arguments broke out, she spent her childhood and youth in several orphanages. She began killing small animals, which we see often in these cases, but she kind of led towards domesticating cats and then murdering them in order to test if they truly had 9 lives. But in September 1977, the 14-year-old parents forced her to marry 20-year-old Goober. But the marriage was kind of like this whole big thing. It only lasted 6 weeks, and then there was a divorce. They believed she was hypochondriac, and it was like this whole thing. She was hospitalized 50 times with no treatable condition. They said maybe she had hallucination. She complained of red dots that appeared. She was 16, and she was just going through it. In order to make money, she began working as a babysitter. That's all the early life we really get to know, but on February 21st, 1980, 2-year-old Cassidy Johnson was sent to the doctors. She was diagnosed, but then on February 28th, 3 days later, she died. The autopsy would list the cause of death to be blunt force trauma to the skull. Falling, who had been babysitting her at the time, said she just passed out, fell out of the crib. They did not believe her, of course. The police investigated it, but it was lost, the note from the doctor, and the case was closed. Shortly after this death, though, Falling moved to Florida, and 2 months later, in 1980, she killed 4-year-old Jeffrey Davis, died while under her supervision. There was a heart condition in play, so that's why it kind of was like, did she do it? Did she not? She also took the care of, after this, when she moved, she took the care of like elderly, and 77-year-old William Swindle died in her care. And then there was her half-sister at 8 months old. And then a 10-week-old. It was the 10-week-old that really busted her because it was suffocation, and she said she confessed to it and the children, and she kept hearing voices say, "Kill the baby." She was suffocating them with pillows and blankets. She was sentenced to life in prison in December 1982. Her confession got her set free from the death penalty.